My name is Chao Nyan, the adopted child of the Chao family. Today, I am leaving the Chao family, a wealthy household in Rao Cheng, to meet my biological parents. A month ago, I discovered my younger sister and my boyfriend behaving suspiciously. When I informed my parents, they expelled me from the house. It was then that I learned I was just a foster daughter of the Chao family. While passing by my father's room, I overheard him and my younger sister discussing that my biological parents are teachers in a poor district. If that's the case, I will drive all of you out of the house, my father said. He never regarded me as his daughter. Now, I am leaving this house. Seeing me, my younger sister sneered and said, "Didn't you say you would leave today? Why are you still lingering around? Do you really not want to give up your wealthy life? So what if my parents are poor teachers in the countryside? It's been several days and they still haven't come to pick you up. Don't tell me they can't afford a plane ticket and are walking here." At this moment, my foster father handed me some money with a look of disdain and said, "Consider it as if you were once a daughter. Hurry up and take 10,000 yuan. No need," Chao Nyan said. "Don't worry, your family is so poor that even exchanging this money is good. Your family is not as rich as mine, you definitely won't be comfortable when you go back. I don't need this little amount of money," Chao Nyan said and left the Chao family. On the way, her phone rang. She took it out and saw a message from an unknown number. "Nyan Nyan, I'm your second brother. Father asked me to pick you up. The car is parked outside." Imagining her brother as a chubby young man with a bicycle, she waited leisurely, unaware that on the other side of the street, a handsome man in a luxurious car was waving frantically. After waiting for a while and seeing no one, she moved to look around. Her brother saw her and enthusiastically waved, but she didn't notice him. He had a look of disappointment on his face. "Nyan Nyan, don't leave anymore. I'm your cousin, Jiang Li. You can call me your older brother. I just sent you a message." Chao Nyan was stunned. Why was reality so different from her imagination? "Hello, older brother. I'm Chao Nyan. Is this your car?" "This is the most modest car of mine, not that I don't value you, but Grandpa is afraid of scaring you. I feel so familiar looking at you. Where have I met you before?" When Chao Nyan said that, Jiang Li immediately stood up straight and solemnly waited for her to guess. "Forget it, you can't remember. You are the one with a bad memory." Chao Nyan's words made Jiang Li's heart shatter as if she didn't realize he was the top male artist. With a light cough, Jiang Li opened the car door to invite his little sister inside for a cooler and more convenient ride. He also introduced the person inside. "This is Yi Wang Chuan, my friend. You can call him Mr. Yi." "Mr. Yi, yes, I am the young lady of the Jiang family that Mr. Jiang is looking for, right?" Chao Nyan did not answer Yi Wang Chuan's question but instead asked Jiang Li, "Are my parents not teaching in the countryside?" "That's just my parents going to the countryside to teach as part of their charity work. He is actually a professor at Tsinghua University." "A professor at Tsinghua University?" Chao Nyan seemed very surprised. "Yes, our Jiang family has been looking for you for many years and finally found you. If you go back to your grandfather's house, he will definitely be very happy. We have arranged a celebration party for your return at the largest Shuizhua hotel in the city." "Thank you, big brother," Chao Nyan said, thinking that her biological parents' home might not be what she had imagined. Not long after, they arrived at the extravagant Shuizhua hotel. Jiang Li drove to the parking lot while Yi Wang Chuan led Chao Nyan to the pre-booked dining room. At that moment, she saw the father and son from the Chao family arriving as well. "How did you get here, Chao Nyan? Weren't you looking down on $10,000 before? Now regret it?" Chao Nyan didn't bother to respond and ignored them as if they were air. "Chao Nyan, I'm talking to you, can't you hear me?" Despite the Chao family members still trailing behind, Yi Wang Chuan took her hand and said that Mr. Jiang was waiting. As he held her hand, Chao Nyan felt a sudden confusion and, after walking a short distance, spoke up, "Hey, can we loosen up now? Being close to you, how can I not worry about bad guys catching you?" Yi Wang Chuan replied, "I'm not a 3-year-old child who has been lost for 18 years. Both Dad and Grandpa miss you a lot. That's enough. Not to compare with him, the situation is also strange. Before, just being touched by someone would make me uneasy, but now I feel strangely at ease. Pushing open a door, inside was a luxurious dining room where everyone was waiting. Seeing the two enter, the first person to greet them was Jiang Tianru, Jiang Li's younger sister and Qiao Nian's cousin. Seeing them holding hands, Jiang Tianru immediately became unhappy, surprised that Mr. Yi was holding Qiao Nian's hand. "Oh, this is Qiao Nian. Nian Nian, my good granddaughter. After so many years, I finally found her. I was afraid that by the time I found her, I would be gone. If I couldn't find her, I wouldn't have the face to see her mother," Mr. Jiang said emotionally. Qiao Nian quickly went to hold his hand, calling him grandfather affectionately. Good granddaughter. Nian Nian, come here so that I can introduce someone. This is your father, Jiang Zongjin, who is now a professor." Yi Wangchuan stood behind, listening to the old man speak, and found it somewhat amusing. A professor at Tsinghua University was just an ordinary professor according to him. When his daughter called out, Jiang Zongjin couldn't hold back his emotions, his eyes turning red. "Nian Nian, your uncle and aunt are out working today and won't be coming home. This is their daughter Jiang Tianru, slightly older than you, and your cousin. Her older brother is Jiang Li, whom you've met before, cousin," Qiao Nian greeted, but Jiang Tianru ignored her. Zongjin quickly served the food, ensuring Nian Nian wouldn't go hungry. Nian Nian had to sit next to her grandfather so he could look at her more. "Yes, thank you, Grandpa," Qiao Nian said happily, feeling a deep sense of closeness with him. As the food was served, everyone began to eat together. Mr. Jiang asked while eating, "Nian Nian, I heard that you have been on leave from school for a year. Have you reached grade 12 yet? Have you decided on a high school to attend? Do you like any school at the moment?" "I haven't thought about it yet," Qiao Nian replied. For her, going to high school was just a means to get a diploma, something she hadn't needed for a long time. However, Jiang Tianru sarcastically interjected. "Why did you take a break from studying? Is it because you were doing so poorly that you couldn't keep up? I can tutor you. Your grades are excellent. Teaching a student like you who drops out of school is not a problem. So my cousin is outstanding too?" Qiao Nian asked. "Of course. After all, our Jiang family's genes are all excellent students, but I have never seen anyone get bad grades and drop out of school," Jiang Tianru replied smugly. "My cousin is right," Qiao Nian responded coolly. "If you can't eat enough or dress well enough, how can you have the opportunity to study?" Seeing his new niece had to speak out like that, Mr. Jiang scolded Jiang Tianru. When it came to her grandfather, she seemed very afraid and didn't dare to say anything else. Qiao Nian happily continued her meal. After a while, Yi Wangchuan spoke up. "Actually, the #1 high school in the city is not bad." Seeing that her crush had attracted Qiao Nian's attention, Jiang Tianru couldn't help but interrupt. "Mr. Wangchuan, the #1 high school in the city is indeed not bad, but does Qiao Nian have the ability? If the Jiang family uses connections to enroll her and she can't keep up with her studies, she'll feel embarrassed. That's a small matter, but involving the Jiang family is the big issue. Tianru, why do you always look down on your little sister?" Mr. Jiang admonished her. "Grandpa, you're always trying to show off your prestige by arranging things for her. People might think she's a hungry ghost who only knows how to eat without saying anything. Mr. Wangchuan is really at fault. This family recognition banquet is making him laugh at us," Jiang Tianru retorted. Yi Wangchuan didn't care about her words, he just focused on picking food for Qiao Nian. At this point, Jiang Li had to hold his younger sister's hand and scold her. "Tianru, how can you talk about Nian Nian like that? She has suffered a lot outside. Brother, I can't accept this inferior sister." Mr. Jiang angrily slammed the table. "Enough. You're already looking down on your cousin the first time we meet. Who's the one without education here?" "But Grandpa." Jiang Tianru still wanted to make excuses but was interrupted by Jiang Li. Seeing her grandfather sincerely wanting to protect her, Qiao Nian felt that this family was pretty good. "My parents are busy with work and don't have time to teach me. People like my grandfather will teach me. When I come back today, I have to check myself really well for my grandfather." Seeing her grandfather angry, Qiao Nian happily picked up a piece of food for him to eat. Eating a dish picked by his well-behaved granddaughter, her grandfather's anger quickly subsided. "Nian Nian, how do you feel about your studies?" Whatever you arrange, Grandpa. Okay, then go to the number 1 school in the city. Unfortunately, my health is not good and I need to go to Beijing for treatment. Your parents also work in Beijing, Mr. Jiang said thoughtfully. Seeing that his grandfather seemed to be thinking, Jiang Li quickly added, my grandfather has a house in the city. He promised to take good care of her enrollment, saying, Nyan Nyan can temporarily live with me. In terms of her studies, I will help her very well. I will also stay in this city for a while to assist her. With Jiang Li's support, it seemed like a common arrangement, but Yi Wangchuan also voluntarily offered his help, which made Xiao Nian a bit surprised and puzzled. Nian Nian, whatever you want to eat, just tell Grandpa. Thank you, Grandpa, I've finished eating. At that moment, Xiao Nian's phone rang again. Seeing that the caller was someone special, she asked her grandfather for permission to go outside to answer the call. As she left, Yi Wangchuan's eyes followed her. He then stood up and asked for permission to go settle the bill outside. Just as Xiao Nian picked up the phone, the person on the other end hurriedly said, Xiao Nian, when will you send me the medicine? Don't pay attention to those foolish Qiao family members anymore. When you have time, prepare the medicine and bring it over. Your items at the black market have been bought at a sky-high price. I will bring it over when it's done, Xiao Nian replied. Also, your ex-boyfriend still wants to buy your medicine for a very high price. Coincidentally, as she went outside to answer the phone, Xiao Nian ran into her younger sister, who was involved with her ex-boyfriend. They exchanged bullet-like glances. Suddenly, at that moment, Qiao Shan pretended to fall into her lover's arms and said weakly, Mr. Fu, I feel dizzy and have severe chest pain. Maybe the old illness is recurring. Don't worry, Mr. Fu has found a very powerful doctor for you. Once I get the medicine from this doctor, I'm sure you'll be cured, her lover reassured her. Mr. Fu, you are really good to me. Seeing this married couple playing their game and ignoring her, Xiao Nian sarcastically asked, do you sell yourselves to him? The voice on the other end of the line asked. Xiao Nian smiled and said, I do. Xiao Nian, why are you here? Oh, my, Xiao Nian, don't stalk Mr. Fu anymore. Are you trying to beg Mr. Fu to come back to you? Xiao Nian replied calmly, I suddenly smelled tea while eating, so I went outside to see. Xiao Nian, I won't let you smear Shan Shan, her sister's lover intervened. Mr. Fu treats his girlfriend very clearly. Xiao Nian, oh, we know you're still angry because Mr. Fu dumped you, but sneaking around like this is really pathetic. At that moment, Mr. Fu's mother opened the door and said, Ahua, Shan Shan's body is weak like this. Take her outside and make her wear more clothes. Seeing her, Xiao Nian immediately frowned and said, Xiao Nian, how can you be here? Shan Shan looked apologetic and said, Aunt, I'm sorry. I don't know how she knew I would meet Mr. Fu today, and especially came here to cause trouble. Xiao Nian, you don't know how to check your identity and dare to cause trouble for my son. For the sake of the Qiao family's interests, I have maintained your dignity, but you are not ashamed. You are a child picked up from the sewer and don't really think you are the child of a wealthy family, do you? Xiao Nian had heard these insulting words many times and had gotten used to them. At the same time, Yi Wangchuan patted her on the shoulder from behind and said, It's not appropriate to first run out to watch monkeys at a family gathering. Hey, what did you just say, kid? In an instant, the three noble people turned into red-bottomed monkeys in Yi Wangchuan's metaphor. This made Xiao Nian chuckle. He's right, I'll go inside. Do you understand the rules? Have I given you permission to leave? Mr. Fu's mother said sternly, attempting to grab Xiao Nian's hand. However, Yi Wangchuan intervened, pushing her hand away and stepping forward in front of Xiao Nian. Why are you hitting someone in public? Is this how you behave? He asked, his tone filled with anger. Who are you? What right do you have to speak to me like this? Mr. Fu's mother retorted, It's too noisy. What's going on? Jiang Zongjin and the elder Jiang also came out at this time. When they saw the situation, the woman's voice trembled. President Jiang, oh President Jiang, why are you in this city? Xiao Nian and Yi Wangchuan could only stand and watch the drama unfold. Seeing the woman acting so cheerful, but the elder Jiang still didn't recognize her. At this point, the woman continued to smile and said, Mr. Jiang often forgets. I met you at a Zhonghua painting exhibition in Beijing before. I am a daughter-in-law of the Fu family. Do you remember, Elder Jiang? There was just one word in response: not impressed. Not being impressed is not important. Maybe meeting in this city is fate. Why don't you come in and sit with my family? At that moment, Jiang Zongjin spoke up. I'm sorry, Mrs. Fu, isn't it? My father is here at this time to pick up his granddaughter. We don't have time to go to someone else's house to play. Right, I don't have any free time to play anything, the elder Jiang affirmed. Mrs. Fu felt embarrassed upon hearing this. Observing the situation, it seemed like Mrs. Fu was lowering herself to flatter the old man. Qiao Nian sensed that her grandfather was not a simple character. At that moment, the elder Jiang turned around, smiled at Qiao Nian, and asked her to go back home with him. Both the Fu family and Qiao Shan were shocked upon hearing this. How could Qiao Nian be Mr. Jiang's granddaughter? Does Nian Nian have a relationship with Mrs. Fu? Mr. Jiang suddenly asked. Mrs. Fu quickly put on a show, saying that she liked Qiao Nian the most. We are not familiar with each other, Qiao Nian spoke up. Yi Wangchuan also mentioned that Mrs. Fu had just wanted to hit Qiao Nian. What? Do you dare to hit my granddaughter? Mrs. Fu, afraid, stuttered, it's just a small matter. I just see Qiao Nian as my daughter. Our grandfathers just recognized each other. Let's not waste time because of this person. Nian Nian is right. Should we bring the child to the number 1 high school in the city to study? Yes, let's go. Listening to the conversation between these two grandfathers and grandchildren, Qiao Shan couldn't believe that Qiao Nian would study at the city's number 1 high school. For her family, obtaining such an opportunity would require diligent work for a long time. Yet for Qiao Nian, it seemed that just a simple sentence could switch schools. Just thinking about it, Qiao Shan felt embarrassed. Shan, are you okay? I'm fine. I'm just surprised to see my sister come back to study in this city. My parents said that her parents come from a poor district. How could an aunt be familiar with such a poor family? Hearing his girlfriend's words, Fu Hua immediately asked his mother, Mom, what's the deal with this? The old man just an old man painting Zhonghua paintings. Mom thought he was old, so she was polite. Unexpectedly, Mrs. Fu trailed off. At this point, Qiao Shan realized that she only had a little more money than Qiao Nian's family, not fully comprehending how noble Qiao Nian really was. If you are not a family member, you cannot enter the house, just like Qiao Nian. No one in the family has any restrictions, Mrs. Fu explained to Qiao Shan with a smile, comforting her. Don't get upset. Don't bother with those ignorant country folks. It turns out he is just a poor artist from the countryside, nothing special. At the waiting area of the Shuizhua Hotel, Qiao Nian's grandfather asked, Nian Nian, where else did you say you wanted to go? Your cousin will take you. Hearing this, Jiang Tian Ayu immediately felt helpless. Grandpa, I have a press conference tonight. My older brother promised to take me. How come there is another press conference? I already disagreed with you and your older brother entering the entertainment industry. You've been causing trouble these days. Why can't the driver take you? I already told my older brother before. Let the driver take Nian Nian, no need to bother. I can drive myself, how is that possible? Oldster Jiang immediately became worried. At the same time, his eyes fell on a person who wasn't Yi Wangchuan. Wangchuan, do you have time to help me take Nian Nian away? This was certainly not beyond Qiao Nian's prediction. Grandpa Wangchuan must be too busy to have time, or let my big brother take her. I can. Jiang Tian'ayu was about to suggest when he was interrupted by Yi Wangchuan. I'm free, very free. I will take her. Mr. Wangchuan, you just came back from Linghan and must be very tired. Why not let my big brother take Qiao Nian? Jiang Tian'ayu insisted. No need, Yi Wangchuan said as he took the car keys from Jiang Li's hand. Then, with a cheeky grin, he added. She's mine. I'll take her. Qiao Nian felt a bit awkward. When did she become his? Yi Wangchuan approached Qiao Nian and gently asked, where do you want to go? Meanwhile, Jiang Tian'ayu, who had just witnessed this scene, was already furious. Not long after, Yi Wangchuan took Qiao Nian where she needed to go. Thank you, do you need me to walk you inside? No need, I can go in by myself, Qiao Nian replied as she got out of the car. Seeing Yi Wangchuan's concern, Chao Nian said, "So you go in first, Mr. Yi." As she walked into the villa, Yi Wangchuan took out his phone, snapped a picture, and sent it to someone along with a message asking where the place was. The reply came quickly. "This is a very famous psychological clinic that is very difficult to make an appointment with. Does old Wang have a psychological problem? Get lost." Meanwhile, unaware of why Chao Nian went to the psychological clinic, Yi Wangchuan's phone rang again. Upon answering, he heard an urgent voice on the other end saying, "Mr. Wang is in trouble. The young master can't find him anymore. Where is everyone?" Yi Wangchuan's face immediately paled, and he turned the car around, speeding off. Inside the villa, Chao Nian had just entered when a young man with half yellow and half pink hair excitedly ran out to welcome her. "Xiao Chao Nian, you finally made it. I missed you so much, don't come over here. I'm afraid I'll itch to punch you. Fmh, good or bad, I am still your number one pursuer. Do you need to come so affectionately? Honestly, whether you and Fu Hua have broken up, have you ever thought about giving me a chance? Don't think too much, you are not worthy," Chao Nian replied bluntly, causing the young man's heart to sink. How could he not be worthy of her? "Why do you say that, Xiao Chao Nian? Clearly, it is you who are not worthy. Isn't it true? When someone of the opposite sex touches you, you immediately develop an allergy to the point of breaking out in hives. I witnessed it once, where, the pure chairman is in love with me," he boasted, observing Chao Nian's puzzled expression. "That's a novel on the internet with a hot storyline and sensational content. Have you never heard of it before? But the male lead in it also has a similar situation to yours. No one of the opposite sex can touch him. Whoever touches him will turn away." Chao Nian retrieved a bottle of medicine from her backpack and handed 3 pills to him. "This is your medicine for this month. Why only 3 pills? I'm busy. I don't have time to carry more. You're so busy, I'm really busy. Whatever, it's up to you. But recently, someone has been looking for you from Beijing City. It seems to be a high-ranking patient who wants you to come for a checkup. They surveyed all over Rao Cheng and seemed to find quite a bit of information about you, or you." The pink-haired man trailed off. "We didn't meet. Same rules. You helped me solve it. Go, call me if anything happens," Chao Nian interrupted, waving her hand dismissively before leaving the villa, leaving the pink-haired man mesmerized. Taking a taxi back home, Chao Nian's journey was interrupted by a traffic jam. The driver suggested she walk from the bridge leading to the shopping center. Agreeing, she paid and exited the car. Just then, she heard someone shouting, "Someone fell into the water. I saw it was a boy. This child seems to be picking up a toy that fell into the water. Call the police quickly. Does anyone know how to swim?" In the crowd, Chao Shan and Fu Hua were also present, chatting. "Mr. Fu, I think this child is very pitiful," Chao Shan remarked. Chao Nian squeezed into the crowd, observing the fast-flowing water below. "If no one rescued the child, he would be in danger. Although I know how to swim, the doctor warned me not to catch a cold, or else I will." As Chao Shan pondered the situation more seriously, Chao Nian seized the opportunity and pushed her aside. Discarding her backpack to the side, Chao Nian leaped onto the railing of the bridge. Without hesitation, she immediately jumped down to rescue the person in distress. Chao Shan watched in shock as Chao Nian descended into the muddy, swiftly flowing water below. Is she crazy? Doesn't she care about her own life anymore? Chao Shan wondered aloud. The child, already struggling and crying for help, found relief as Chao Nian arrived just in time. Don't move. The more you struggle like this, the deeper you'll sink, Chao Nian instructed urgently. However, consumed by fear, the child continued to thrash about aimlessly. If you keep moving, I will hit you, Chao Nian warned, left with no other option. Seeing the child persisting in their frantic movements, Chao Nian reluctantly delivered a blow, causing the child to momentarily lose consciousness to prevent further danger. Yet, in an unexpected turn, a sudden wave crashed upon them, leaving Chao Nian soaked and struggling in the water. Witnessing this scene, Chao Shan couldn't help but feel a secret sense of satisfaction. A fleeting smile crossed her lips as she pondered whether Chao Nian had reached her physical limits. As Chao Nian finally brought the boy to safety, relief washed over the crowd. The person has been rescued, "This girl is truly a hero," someone exclaimed. Urged by the onlookers, Qiao Shan felt a deep sense of regret. If there had been more waves just now, she wouldn't have to encounter Qiao Nian at school anymore. "Should we go over and see?" Fu Hua asked Qiao Shan. "Of course, we should. I didn't expect her to do that. I'm very worried. Let's go over quickly in case I can help in this situation." Qiao Nian cradled the child in her arms. The boy, about 5 or 6 years old, looked pale. With the ambulance yet to arrive, everyone grew increasingly anxious. Qiao Nian, recognizing the gravity of the situation, found a shaded spot and gently placed the child down to administer first aid. "What's your sister doing?" Fu Hua inquired. "She's giving artificial respiration to the child. It's a first aid procedure," he explained. "But Qiao Nian doesn't really know how to do that. It's not like on TV. A child that small should wait for the doctor to arrive." "It's true. I also know a doctor in the city. I'll call them to come here quickly," Fu Hua declared. Qiao Shan, seizing the opportunity to assert herself, raised her voice. "Everyone, rest assured, we've called a doctor. A specialist from a third-tier hospital will arrive soon." Qiao Nian recognized the sour tone immediately. These two were always causing a commotion. Realizing that the child had been submerged for too long, she knew that simple respiratory and cardiac arrest procedures might not suffice. Despite the risk, she didn't want to expend effort futilely. Retrieving her tools from her backpack, she ignored the murmurs around her. Why does she carry so many acupuncture needles? She didn't learn acupuncture randomly from TV. Did she? Someone speculated aloud. Amid the growing panic, voices urged Qiao Nian to stop, fearing she would worsen the child's condition. Everyone hoped for the ambulance's swift arrival. As Qiao Nian prepared to needle the patient, Fu Hua's voice rang out loudly. "Qiao Nian, don't cause any more trouble. Leave quickly and wait for the doctor to arrive. Could you please stop talking and leave me alone?" Qiao Nian's abrupt tone surprised Fu Hua. She had never spoken to him like this before. Why was she behaving this way now? "Qiao Nian, you should listen to Mr. Fu and let go quickly," Qiao Shan interjected, but Qiao Nian continued undeterred, swiftly and skillfully applying acupuncture to the child's neck. "You clearly don't know anything about acupuncture and are behaving recklessly. Do you want to play hero and risk everything? Do you realize that causing harm to this child could lead to imprisonment? You're jeopardizing everything." As Qiao Shan's incessant chatter heightened the tension, bystanders grew more anxious. "Hey, girl, try not to worry too much," one person offered. "What should we do? This child doesn't look like he's going to make it," another lamented. "If Qiao Nian doesn't know acupuncture, she shouldn't meddle. Let go quickly." 5 minutes earlier, Yi Wangchuan had been driving frantically, searching for the exact location of the young master Tan Tan. "Hello, have you found Tan Tan's precise location?" he asked urgently. "Yes, Wang Chuan, I'll tell you the truth, but you must stay calm." "Tell me," Traffic Police Officer Yuan Jiangnan began. "A few minutes ago, Tan Tan wanted to retrieve something that had fallen into the lake. I don't have all the details, but I quickly called the rescue team to the scene." The screeching of tires could be heard passing through the phone, causing Jiang Li to panic on the other end. "Wang Chuan, please try to calm down. Tan Tan will be fine," he reassured. Standing in the middle of the road, Yi Wangchuan's emotions were turbulent, a mixture of worry and fear, stirring up memories from the past. "Wang Chuan, Tan Tan is a vulnerable child. After I'm gone, please take good care of him," Jiang Li pleaded. "Okay, do. I promise to take good care of the boy." Gathering his thoughts, Yi Wangchuan swiftly turned to Jiang Li and said, "I'm near Yuan Jiangnan Road. Can you come over and help me arrange for a hospital in the city on the other side?" "Sure, no problem." Returning to Qiao Nian's location, after a few minutes, the child began to cough lightly. The group of onlookers fell silent, attentively observing the child's reaction. As the coughing worsened, the child finally expelled a mouthful of water, gradually stabilizing his breathing. The surrounding crowd erupted into admiration, some even offering apologies to Qiao Nian for their earlier doubts. "It seems Nian Nian really knows her stuff when it comes to medicine," Fu Hua remarked with a smile, earning a scowl from Qiao Shan. "Damn Qiao Nian, where did you pick up these medical skills?" Just a stroke of luck. While Fu Hua continued praising Qiao Nian, Qiao Shan grew increasingly irritated, convinced that Qiao Nian was trying to woo Fu Hua once again. She hugged herself tightly, feigning distress. Oh, my heart suddenly aches terribly. Perhaps it's from worrying too much, she whimpered dramatically. Fu Hua immediately rushed to her side, comforting her. Shan, don't worry. I'll take you to the hospital right away. Meanwhile, Qiao Nian cradled the child in her arms, ensuring they stayed warm. The child had safely expelled the water they'd ingested. Oh dear, your neck is scratched. If the contaminated river water gets into it, it could cause trouble, Qiao Nian observed, touching her own neck and noticing a small amount of blood. Qiao Nian was surprised to see Yi Wangchuan arrive, accompanied by another person who quickly took the baby from her arms to check on its condition. Mr. Wang, the child seems fine, probably just passed out from being soaked in water, the person reported. Relieved, Qiao Nian watched as they took the baby home, while Yi Wangchuan turned his attention to her. Is that scratch on your neck from Tan Tan? He asked, draping his vest over her shoulders. Let me take you to the hospital. Qiao Nian hesitated, her hand instinctively going to her stomach. It's just a minor wound, she assured him, feeling a twinge of discomfort. I'll go to the pharmacy to buy some medication for it, but Yi Wangchuan insisted, holding her hand firmly. Go to the hospital, he commanded. I'll take you there. It's better to be safe. Go to the hospital or I will call Grandpa, Yi Wangchuan repeated firmly, giving Qiao Nian an ultimatum. Feeling the weight of his words, Qiao Nian reluctantly agreed. Her lower abdomen was starting to ache more intensely, and she wondered if her menstrual cycle was starting again. Yi Wangchuan noticed her discomfort and acted swiftly, escorting her to a large hospital. Chairman Dam, please check the wound on her body for me, Yi Wangchuan requested urgently as they entered the hospital. The doctor nodded and gestured for Qiao Nian to take a seat. As she sat down, he began examining the wound carefully. After a few moments, he spoke up. Well, it's fortunate that she came early, the doctor said. If she had come a little later, the wound would have healed on its own. Although Chairman Dam refrained from elaborating, Yi Wangchuan couldn't help but press for more information. Is it very serious? Do you need me to? As he spoke, the door swung open abruptly, and a young man wearing a mask and a hat rushed in. Nian, how are you feeling? I heard Wang Chuan mention that you almost drowned, so I took the chance to come here and see if you're okay, he exclaimed. How's my sister doing, doctor? Nian, how are you? Jiang Li's concerned voice reached her ears. Qiao Nian recognized him, but she couldn't fathom why he was dressed so unusually today. Let me have the nurse disinfect the wound a bit and apply some anti-inflammatory cream. It should be fine, it's just a minor infection. Do we need to recheck it or perform a CT scan for a more thorough examination? Chairman Dam inquired further. Or should I schedule a CT scan now? No need for that, Qiao Nian interjected, noticing Jiang Li's evident concern. A CT scan can be harmful to your health, and this small wound doesn't require it. It's fine, thankfully it's not serious, otherwise Grandpa and everyone would surely scold me, Qiao Nian expressed with a hint of worry. It's just a minor injury. I wonder how the child is doing. Jiang Li handed a black card to Yi Wangchuan, attempting to assert his dignity. Hold on, my older brother still has the means to buy clothes for Nian. Jiang Li emphasized. Did you think your small favor could win Nian's favor? Never. Passing the black card to Yi Wangchuan, Jiang Li instructed, go quickly to the inpatient ward to check on Tan Tan. Nian, come, let your big brother assist you. Initially intending to take her hand and accompany her like Yi Wangchuan, Jiang Li quickly retracted his hand upon seeing her disdainful expression. Fine, assist her in buying clothes. Subsequently, the two siblings enjoyed a delightful shopping excursion. 2 hours later, they arrived at a VIP villa area. Surveying the opulent surroundings, Qiao Nian couldn't help but recall her stepmother, Qiao Wei Dan's, fondness for such areas. She remembered a time when her stepmother was preoccupied with house hunting and Qiao Shan's medical needs, leaving her neglected and hungry at a resort for an entire day. After returning from house hunting, Qiao Shan rudely remarked upon seeing me, "Oh, I forgot you were still here. Weren't you out dining with your parents?" Though I heard it's not advisable to eat rich food when you're sick. You should endure hunger a bit. The family had hoped to move into this area soon, but they lacked the funds and no longer met the requirements to purchase a house. Suddenly, Jiang Li swung open the car door and called out, "Qiao Nian, we're here. This is my place in Rao Cheng. I bought it a while back but haven't spent much time here." Qiao Nian was astonished to learn that her brother had achieved something significant. He even had the means to invest in real estate in the area. "You can stay with me for a while. I'll arrange my schedule to spend more time with you this year. Let's head inside quickly, Nian Nian," Jiang Li suggested warmly. Following her brother into the house, Qiao Nian was taken aback to find Yi Wang Chuan there. He had just finished showering and was drying his hair, wearing a grim expression.